Hey everybody, welcome back to Shock and Schlock. I'm your host Herschel Gillis, and today we have a very, very special review. Uh, ooh, it's been a while since I've reviewed something like this. We'll say that. Hmm, it's one that I was putting off for a while because Shock and Schlock was started for both extreme cinema and B movies. That was initially the intention. I reviewed Javs and stuff. Oh, over time as part of the sort of shock section, but that got loose. So Shark Saturdays were started to get back to the B movie roots and the awful movies. And people seem to have been enjoying those. And I watched, it's not a shark movie, but when you look up the worst films of all time, or like in the circles of bad movie lovers, one film comes up a lot. The Amazing Bulk, the 2013 superhero thing. The movie where I couldn't tell if it was. Okay, I know it wasn't intended to be serious, okay? I know it was intended to be like a so bad that it's good movie, like one of those self aware ones, but the thing is that this becomes so terrible and the jokes that they try to write do not land that it becomes so bad that it's good, but not in the way they intended. um, so what is the Amazing Bulk? Well, on paper, it's pretty much just a Hulk ripoff. Um, like a guy turns into this purple monster when he gets mad. Instead of a green monster, it's very original. And a tornado sort of. A tornado, like, spins around him. He turns into this purple monster. And that's about it. It's literally the same story as the Incredible Hulk movie from, like, a decade ago. But dear, dear Lord, uh, I don't even know where to begin with this. Okay, we'll start out with the special effects, if you want to call them that. So the entire movie is shot in front of a green screen. Not part of the movie, not 90% of the movie, the entire movie. Every room, every set piece, everything is in front of a green screen. So when they're walking in place, and it's just sort of like this pan. Like when characters walk, it's just walking in a panning shot. But the backgrounds, they look like they were made in Microsoft Paint in like 1995, um, or whatever year. I think it's, yeah, Windows 95 or 98. I'm sorry. Uh, God. Everything this looks like it was painted by a toddler. When I was a kid, I had one of those, um, desktop computers, like an old. I don't remember what it was, but it was, they ran Windows 98. And I used to go into Microsoft Paint, and the background for the computer for like the 10 years that my grandparents had it was this green sea monster that looked like just dog shit coming out of the water. But, I was proud of it and it was on there. That looked better than anything on here. I should try to see if I can find that picture and post it to my Instagram just to show that it looks actually better than this. I have no artistic talent whatsoever, like in drawing or anything like that, and I could make this movie better. They tried to be dumb, and it is dumb, but it also becomes sort of great in like a thing sort of way. But it's so hard to describe this movie because it was intended to be bad. You can tell that. You can tell it's one of like those Sci-Fi Channel movie type of deals where they try to make a bad movie that's entertaining because it's bad. This one is so bad that it goes beyond. Oh, and there's a part where they're mixing chemicals and everything, like the two characters mixing chemicals, and they're saying all this fake science gibberish, and then he says what it comes down to is, well, the green serum didn't work, so what if we made it purple? The dialogue in this movie is fantastic. I mean, it's Oscar quality stuff. Um, I think this movie actually may be worse than Things. It's not quite as good, like entertainment wise. I mean, Things is a classic of bad movies. This is kind of becoming a classic too, and I know some people legitimately hate this movie, and I had a good time with it. But the also back on the CGI, the Amazing Bulk, fantastic. By the way, his body shape is like he has like a huge stomach, but it's like concave chest going in, and he has a fully animated butt crack, and it's bizarre. But yeah, and there's a chase scene at one point in this movie where it just looks like they were taking just random like sampler backgrounds and just throwing them all together. Like there's like Zeus throws a lightning bolt, and there's never anything there. There's a random green troll chasing him. There's like a military person when there's actual people dressed as military, but they are like have to have this animated military. What? Dialogue terrible as you would imagine. Laughable, of course. Everybody either overacts or underacts with everything. Makes it fun in that way. But the CGI, that's really if you not CG. It looks so bad that I'm like at a loss for words trying to describe it. The cover of the movie is the most competent thing by far. I it, it's a bad one, but if you're a fan of bad movies like I am, and you want to watch something that's so bad that it's baffling and it almost becomes amazing because it's like this, imagine on a line. Right, so let's say, you know, you got bad movies over here, good movies over here. This goes so far towards the bad movies that it almost makes a trip around and becomes good in like the weirdest ironic way ever. Sort of like The Room or Troll 2 or things. But Troll 2 and The Room, while awful, where at least they tried and they knew how to hold a camera. This they intended to make this bad, but I truthfully think that there are some parts in this that are unintentionally bad. I mean, I think that's what the whole thing comes down to. I mean, most of this is unintentionally bad. Like, they just did not know what they were doing at all. They had an idea in mind, but they executed it so poorly that they became the movie they were making fun of. That's what it sort of comes down to. But yeah, it's short. It's fun if you like bad movies. But if you don't like bad movies, this is not for you. No way. Um, but if you are a fan of bad movies, like I said, this is a must watch. This is like in the pantheon of like things, The Room, stuff like that for the quality, I would say. Maybe not destined to become like the cult classic that The Room is or Things is or Troll 2 is, but to a certain group of people, including myself, this is going to be a very, very entertaining movie. You get a couple of friends together, you make fun of it. It would be even funnier if you told them this was a legitimate superhero movie that like they just hadn't heard of, and that it's really good, and then to see the reaction. Because if you're not prepared, you will. Oh, but yeah. If I was still doing ratings, this would be like the first movie that like the quality rating would actually be negative, like below zero. Entertainment wise, what can you even say? It's a classic. Modern classic of bad movies. You have to watch it if you're a fan of bad movies. If you want something quality, this will probably kill you. But yeah. It's a brain melter for sure. And I'm glad I watched it. I'm actually gonna watch this again. I'm gonna show this to people, and I feel like this is gonna be one of those ones that I watch 10 times and wonder why I'm such a wonder why I'm such a masochist. But yeah, it's fun for the right group of people. Highly recommended if you're a fan of bad movies. Um, yeah, you should definitely check it out though. Even if you're not a fan of bad movies, this may be a good place to start actually. So yeah, that's The Amazing Bulk. Weird stuff. Awful, garbage, disgusting, terrible stuff. And you should watch it. So as always, I'm your host, Herschel Gillis, signing off for today. And as always, zero thoughts, zero planning, zero editing, zero brain cells. Thanks, everybody.